The legends speak of a time before the great digital graphics revolution and the powerful controls by movie animators across the world. A time before computers brought to life dinosaurs, avatars, pandas, apes, and monsters, precious objects, and tales from a past ice age. A time before artificial intelligence. Yes, once upon a time, long ago, movies were actually made with real people, real costumes and props, and were made at real locations. This is the story of one of those locations. Welcome to On Location, Gettysburg. Movies, they are the storytelling medium of our era. They move us with their action, music, direction, and cinematography. When, why, and how they are made has importance. Where they are made is equally important. The right location can set the proper tone and background. The wrong location will distract and devalue a film. In 1992, Turner Productions teamed with New Line Cinema, producer Ted Turner, and director Ron Maxwell to produce the epic film Gettysburg. The locations chosen had to reflect the sacred ground of the Battle of Gettysburg and are now in themselves sacred as well. Let us explore these sites. We will observe their appearance during the movie and their modern look in contrast. Converging in and around the small town of Gettysburg came a large cast and crew and several thousand living historians, Civil War reenactors, to bring the Michael Shara Civil War novel, The Killer Angels, to life. Operating with unprecedented permissions from the National Park Service, several key sequences were staged on the actual battlefield, with several other scenes performed on nearby farms and properties. Now, we seek to identify, locate, and honor these locations for future generations to enjoy when visiting the greater Gettysburg area. A committee of a few dozen Civil War reenactors, some of whom were in the movie, coupled with several local Gettysburg area citizens, tour guides, and knowledgeable film buffs, pooled their talents and expertise to investigate, codify, and properly identify most of the sites in the movie Gettysburg.
Okay, we're here on location with Art Snyder, owner of the Tract Road property where the Tawnytown and prisoner scene was filmed during the movie Gettysburg back in 1992. And Art, just kind of curious about how, the nature of this property and how you got involved with the film. If you maybe just tell us a little bit about that, we'd appreciate it.
They just contacted me, wanted to know if they could use the farm here for the filming. And I said, well, yeah, you can do that. As far as the history of the property is concerned, during the Civil War, Daniel Sheets owned it. He was a horse dealer. I know the Confederates were here at that time.
Anything particular you recall about the set when they were using it here? How long it took? And any particular stories you remember about watching it while it was being done, or the cast members, or anything like that?
Actually, I was in the movie. I was a blacksmith out at the blacksmith shop. They were here for 2 days.
The property here goes back to roughly what year?
At least 1750.
And any thoughts about how what it's kind of like having your being able to see your property every now and then when you watch an epic history movie?
Well, being a reenactor, I was in a number of documentaries and what have you. And it was just another day on the job to me.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, this is Trent Walker. I played the role of the rebel prisoner fighting for his rats in the movie Gettysburg. I was called in by the casting director, Joy Todd, who I knew from New York, and we stayed in touch, and we both ended up in L.A. And at the end, I said, hey, could I read for this rebel prisoner? And she thought a minute, and she let me read for it. And after I read, she paused, and she said, I think you need to come in and do that next week for Ron Maxwell. And I went in the next week to the casting office, and there was Joy Todd and Ron Maxwell. I sat in the chair, and I did the scene. And I kept thinking about this role because I wanted this role real bad. And one morning my phone rang, and it was Joy Todd. And she had Ron Maxwell on the speakerphone. And she said, honey, you got the movie. And I was so, I can't tell you how excited I was. Ron was on the speakerphone, and he said, congratulations. I remember the morning that we shot the rebel prisoner scene in Gettysburg. We got there super early. The sun wasn't up, and I got breakfast, and I remember looking out, and there was fog all over the ground, and they finally called us to set and gave me like a bedroll and a satchel and made sure my hat was right. And I didn't know at the time that we were recreating a famous painting by Winslow Homer. Ron came out behind the camera one time, and he said, make sure that you're saying rats instead of rights. When you say, I'm fighting for my rats, make sure you're hitting that rats. And then when the movie came out, it was just amazing. An amazing film to start my movie career. And Ron went on to shoot Gods and Generals, and he cast me in that as Private McClintock. And boy, I'm super grateful to have been in Gettysburg and Gods and Generals. Two experiences I will never forget.
I thought the war was in Virginia.
All right, about 100 yards up from Bigham Road, here's remainders of the stone wall they fashioned for the Little Round Top scene.
In fact, I was right here. I have a way shot up. I showed you some of these pictures. They said, clear the way. Make sure you got a clear path. You're going to hurt people. So Jeff Daniels didn't say, I'm going to go here, move over here. He took a sword out and started hitting us in the bottom of their soul. That was his word to us to move. I thought, we can't get talk. I thought, when he says bayonets, I'll grab your paint gun.
Bearing in mind the movie was done 30 years ago, so the trees have kind of grown up a bit.
Yeah.
There's one scene in the movie during the Little Round Top sequence where Buster Kilrain, who is still with us, props himself up against this really interesting Y-shaped tree, and he fires his musket. And when we were here last time, we looked over here.
There it is.
And found it right there.
Oh, it's that tree right there?
Yeah.
Colonel Darling.
That's Buster's tree.
That's a little high now.
Yeah, it's higher now, sure.
This one for Hood was wounded.
Yeah.
And like, and this also in this quarter here is where they did the spy did his talking.
Right? Isn't that cool?
Yeah. And in one of the scenes, I'm dying out here, and they walk by me, and then I'm dying next to Hood inside, and they put Hood next to it.
Where's France at?
I went to the left and got shot.
God just doesn't stay
Yeah.
dead.
Now.
Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He has trampled out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. He has loosed the faithful lightning of his terrible swift sword. His truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. He has sounded forth the trumpet that shall never call retreat. He is sifting out the hearts of men before his judgment seat. Oh, be swift, my soul, to answer him. Be jubilant, my feet. Our God is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Our God is marching on. In the beauty of the lilies, Christ was born across the sea, with the glory in his bosom that transfigures you and me. As he died to make men holy, let us die to make men free. While God is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. Hallelujah. God is marching on. He is coming like the lamps. I can read his righteous sentence by the dim and flaring lamps. His day is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His day is marching on.
In great deeds, something abides. On great fields, something stays. Forms change and pass, bodies disappear, but spirits linger to consecrate ground for the vision place of souls. And reverent men and women from afar, and generations that know us not, and that we know not of, heart drawn to see where and by whom great things were suffered and done for them, shall come to this deathless field to ponder and dream. And lo, the shadow of a mighty presence shall wrap them in its bosom, and the power of the vision pass into their souls. General Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain.